The last women's field event, S.A. Bruma, former Commonwealth champion, African champion. She's gone over 7 metres this season. A big chance for her to secure a gold for Nigeria. Alina Rotaro, 8 times the national champion, giving it the big floss. She loves it, the Romanian. 9th in the world indoors last year. That's a great entrance, one of the best so far. Manja Beck-Romanchuk, European silver last year. She's the World Student Games champion. 6.74 in qualification from her. Another highly talented double-barreled surname, Nastasia Mironchuk-Ivanova. Bit of a veteran, got a bronze in Daegu 8 years ago. European indoor silver this year. 6.69 from her in qualifying. Commonwealth silver medalist last year. 6 2 years ago in London. Popular figure, Brooke Stratton. 3rd here in Doha in the Diamond League. She'd love to replicate that performance. The favourite, without any question, Malaika Mihambo, the European champion. She's gone over 7 metres, 6 different meets this year. Shakila Saunders crept into the final by the skin of her teeth, 6.53, but she's a Pan American Games bronze medalist and she's a fine performer at her best. She'll fancy she can get in the mix. So too will the silver medalist from 4 years ago, Shara Proctor, a Commonwealth and European bronze medalist last year. Transferee from Anguilla, the Caribbean island, back in 2010. Anastasia Nguyen, she's run 11.43 this year for the 100 metres. She's a national champion over the 100 and the long jump for Hungary. 6.54 in qualification. Shanice Porter, twice a national champion. She made the Pan Am final last year. 6.57 in qualification from her. Tori Bowie, world champion 2 years ago over the 100. Didn't feel she was in shape to defend her title, so she didn't start the 100-metre semi-finals. But she starts this final and has aspirations of gold. Last but by no means least, a young woman who's retired a couple of times and come back. Abigail Irizoru, now back to her very best. 6.70 in qualification. Could she get in the shake-up for a medal? No Brittany Reese in this final, by the way. She finished in 13th place. A real shock. The American was the defending champion and one of only 3 this season who had gone up to the 7-metre mark. Despite the American's absence, it could be a great final. Mihambo, the clear favourite for gold. S.A. Brumiden, the 23-year-old Nigerian, hoping to become Nigeria's first female global long jump champion since Chioma Agunwa took the Olympic title back in Atlanta in 1996. Blessing Okabare, who we saw competing here earlier in the sprints, she's had a couple of medals in the World Championships and the Olympics actually, but no gold for the Nigerian women in this event since 1996. 6.89 in qualification yesterday. She was the 2nd best coming through, just behind Malaika Mihambo. Mihambo had a 6.98. Now what a way this would be to start if she could launch a big one and set the cat amongst the pigeons, as they say. The last women's field event final is underway. Here she goes. 23-year-old Nigerian, massive support on the crowd on the far side, and that is a big jump. That is a very, very good start from S.A. Brumé. She's perfect on the board. And what a way to settle into a competition where she has genuine aspirations for the gold. Well, she could do with a few more centimetres on the board, but it's a lovely, solid opening jump, this. That was class. How close to 7 metres? 6.83. An excellent opener from Brumé. So, Beck Romanchuk, European silver medalist. Oh, she likes that. We saw Essay Brumé start this long jump final with an excellent 6.83. And that also is not too far away from the 7-metre line. Beck Romanchuk's season's best is 6.85. Coming here with good form after winning the World Student Games title. 6.81. She's up into second place early on. Now, Malaika Mihambo. 6 different events this season. She has gone 7 metres or better. She would love to launch a big one in the first round. Miles behind the board, and that probably contributing to her slight disappointment with that one.
Yeah, it's really important just to get a safe one in, as the term goes, on the first one. We can see how fast she is on that runway now. She's worked really hard on her sprint technique. Oh, but look at that. She's half a metre away. Well, she does get really high off that board, although obviously she was nowhere near the board on that occasion. But wow, 6.52, if you think about how far away she was, that's in the 7-metre territory straight away.
And she doesn't look overly happy at the moment. She'll just need a big second round just to settle her down a touch. Shaquila Saunders, the Pan American bronze medalist from a few years ago, hoping to soak up the atmosphere from the crowd. Here she goes.
Yeah, here she goes on the runway. Yeah, and I think that's going to be a red flag. Again, another person with a really good 100-metre personal best.
Shara Proctor, silver medalist 4 years ago. She too seems to be enjoying getting the crowd fired up. So many East Africans on that far side of the stadium, ready for the 1,500 and the 10,000.
So Shara Proctor, she starts her World Championship campaign. Oh, and it's a big one. If that's a white flag, that's a red flag it is. Well, Shara Proctor has got this really good skill of producing her best when she needs it. I can think back to Beijing 4 years ago. She went all the way out to 7 metres and 7. Well, it's around about 11 centimetres, we can see by that graphic there. But I tell you what, if she could actually get a jump on the board, that was going out a long way, Shara Proctor. Looks like she's made really good form for this final. So here we've got the Hungarian athlete. This is Nguyen. She's jumped a personal best this season, 6.77. She's a multiple Hungarian champion at long jump and in the sprints. This is her first World Championship final. What can she do? So remember, of course, all the competitors get 3 jumps. After 3 rounds, those lining 9th to 12th will get eliminated, and those 1st to 8th will get a further 3 jumps. Well, we're getting a few red flags, maybe indication of a few nerves.
3 in a row. Saunders, Proctor and Nguyen. Proctor's jump was very, very big. It certainly would have been up around the Brumé and Beck Romanchuk mark of 6.83 and 6.81. And Mihambo yet to really settle after her first effort.
Shanice Porter, here we go. She's obviously such a great athlete to make this final, but she's fantastic at high jump as well. I was looking through her statistics. She's jumped 1.87 meters for the high jump, so real multi-talented athlete. She's gone out to 6.75 meters this year.
Well, as Porter charges down the runway, we can head down trackside to the former World Decathlon champion, Dan O'Brien, who's been really enjoying the field events over the last 9 or 10 days. Good evening, Dan. What's the atmosphere like down there tonight?
Well, guys, the atmosphere is great as always over here in the horizontal jumps area. This crowd area filled up first of all as the stadium began to fill up this evening. A lot of activity, and already Johannes Vetter just threw a nice and easy javelin out over the 80-meter mark, and the crowd went, oh! So they're ready for some long javelin throws. Here in the long jump, I'll tell you what, we've seen some red flags, but I like the way this competition has opened up already. Brume, she jumps out there to an early lead, 6:83 to start, which is great. But you see these fouls in the first round because of the excitement level. It's not nerves really as much as it is just getting that excitement level up. You're always really just jacked up and really ready to go on your first one. If anything, you've got to pull back on that excitement level and get a little bit more control as you come down the runway on that first jump. Once that first jump's out of the way, then you can really go to work. But if you can manage to control that excitement, you might pop a really, really big one in the first round.
And what's your assessment on Mihambo? Because Brume and Beck Romanchuk, who've got aspirations for gold here, they had a really good start with that 6:83 and 6:81. Do you think Mihambo looks a little tiny bit nervous, or is it just a case of settling into her rhythm?
You know, I think it's just a case of settling into her rhythm. She did this exact same thing at the German National Championships. It took her almost 6 jumps to find the board. So we've seen this from her before. It usually takes her a couple of jumps, but once she finds that board, I guarantee you she's going to pop a 7-meter jump.
Tori Bowie there with 6:61. And how likely do you think we'll keep our eye on this score here? Irazoru, that's a fine opener if she gets the white flag. Yes, she does. Dan, do you reckon it's going to take 7 meters tonight? I mean, Mihambo seems to have been jumping 7s for fun throughout this season. Is it going to take that much, that distance, to produce the gold tonight? I
think so. Even Sharon Proctor, she had a big first jump. We know that she's capable, and you know, we'd say in the throws and the jumps as well, it only takes one good one. 7 meters, I'm not sure 7 meters would do it. Maybe 7:10 just to make sure. I imagine we're going to get a couple of athletes over 7 meters tonight.
Well, let's hope so. Brilliant analysis as always from Dan O'Brien. We'll be hearing more from him throughout the course of this last evening. Word to Irazoru from the coach. That was good, 6:64. She's in 3rd place. And the woman who opened the competition was 6:83. The very first jump, still in front. And bear in mind, she has gone out to 7:05 this season. And it wasn't that long ago. She's asking the crowd to get involved, and they would love it if she could produce a big one now and have that magical number 7 next to her name. Let's see.
Yeah, she's got a nice safe one in there, hasn't she, with 6:83. I'm pretty sure that'll guarantee her 6 jumps already. So now she can just relax, keep it under control, and try and launch a big one. Oh, well, that looked good on the board. Well, she's got a lot of sand on her face there. She landed quite awkwardly, but she's got that all-important white flag. Just see the focus there. Real focus on her lines, and a quick glance, actually, to see where she's about to land. Well, she's got 12 centimetres on the board. And that looks pretty close to that 7-meter line. Well, it's just coming up, 6:91. It is an improvement. Broome stays in the lead.
And she just begins to crank the pressure up on Mihambo, who's down in 7th. Well, Alina Rotaru, 9th in the world indoors last year, she gave it the big floss when she was introduced to the crowd. She's trying to get everybody fired up and in the mood tonight. The music's pumping. And just like Brume, there's a wild look of determination in the eyes of the Romanian. She is seriously pumped for this second round. 6:59 in the first. That looked better, very close to the board. She gets the white flag. You're just waiting for one huge jump to ignite this final, aren't you? You can sense the athletes are up for it, and so too, almost as importantly, are the crowd. It's pretty much close to a sellout on that far side. It's a cracking atmosphere tonight. You just need that little spark.
You do, very reminiscent of the men's shot put last night, wasn't it? Tom Walsh went out to that big one in the first round, and that just made everybody else think, you know, if someone else can do it, so can I. But it is an improvement there. 6.66, as we see the next competitor. I like this competitor, this Ukrainian girl, Beck Romanchuk. I watched her in the European Champs last year. With her last jump, she went from 4th to 2nd position, a real big-time performer, and she's asking the crowd to get behind her. Here we go, second round attempt. Well, just going through her process. All of these athletes have their own mental process as they approach, and that looked like it could have been a red flag. Well, she's got the distance. Well, we have seen a few red flags already, Rob, but like we say, you know, if these distances, you know, these safe flags, they'd be going all out towards 7 meters.
Mironchuk Ivanova, the Belarusian. The reason there's a huge amount of cheering is that the 1500 meter men have just emerged onto the track. With this Belarusian, is hugely experienced. Got a bronze medal 8 years ago. The noise in the stadium is fantastic. 1500 hasn't even started. Well, this long jump competition is sparking into life. Red flag. She'll have a couple of anxious moments, Mironchuk Ivanova, because she's down in 6th overall with 6.53, and that might not be good enough to keep her in the top 8. We'll have to see, because there's a lot of women who had no jumps in the first round who might come past her, so it could take more than that, and she's going to be under a little bit of pressure for her third round jump. You're watching the 10th and final night of live athletics here in the Khalifa International Stadium. An absolutely superb atmosphere this evening as Brooke Stratton, the Commonwealth silver medalist, 6th in the London final 2 years ago, prepares to try and improve on her 6.46 from the first round. Phenomenal amount of noise on that back straight. Can she harness the energy of the crowd here? She's got the talent.
Well, she was rather flat there off the board, and again, that's a red flag. Well, Brooke Stratton is coached by her father, Russell. I think she'll be heading over to get some communication from him. Yeah, it was a foul by around about 8 centimetres there. So Brooke Stratton is in 8th place at the moment, and she needs to keep in 8th place, or improve, of course, to get an additional 3 jumps. So here we go. This is the big favourite to take this title, Malaika Mihambo. Didn't go out to a good jump on her first one, but she was miles behind the board. 6.52 she registered. She's gone all the way out to 7.16 this year. And she's got lots of German support there on the back straight. Here she goes. Oh, and it was massive, but that's going to be a red flag again. So fast on her approach.
She's going to be under real pressure, Jenny, in that third round. What a shock it would be if the German didn't manage to give herself the opportunity of 3 further jumps. She took a little while to settle down at the German National Championships. This is last chance saloon for Mihambo, the overwhelming favourite for the gold, who didn't put a foot wrong yesterday in qualification. She will be under massive pressure when she comes back for her third round jump.
Yeah, and it's how she deals with that, of course, isn't it? She's been so consistent this year, and she looked great in qualification as well. But sometimes when you've got that favourite tag around your neck, it's really, really hard to cope with it. But let's see what she can produce in the third round. Okay, this is the American athlete. This is Saunders. She studies at the University of Kentucky. She's a North Central America and Caribbean champion. She's a championship performer. And what can she go out to? Well, it's a white flag. It's a bit of a time since we've seen that red white flag being raised. Well, she will register a mark. She did get shown that red flag in the first round, so she will have her mark on the board now. Still got quite a lot of distance to find. 6:28. This is Broome, already leading, of course, thanks to that 6:91 second attempt. And she looks really up for this one, doesn't she? This is where the competition really starts. Approaching the halfway stage now, as Broome runs down the runway. That focus lock once again. And it looks pretty similar to a second attempt. Not far away from that 7-metre mark. Well, she lands better this time, doesn't she? She was eating sand after a second attempt. So much height off that board. She's got a really nice leg shoot. Real economic jumper. And here we see, not far from that 7-metre board. So it's 6 metres 90, just 1 centimetre short of the mark she did in the second round.
Here's Rotaru in the third round, 6:66 in the second round. Got herself fired up and in the mood tonight. The noise here in the stadium is absolutely huge. The East African contingent are roaring on Timothy Chariot, and they're giving Broome, the African in this final, massive support as well. What's the Romanian managed to do here? Any improvement?
Well, it is an improvement, 1 centimetre, 6:67. She stays in third position. This is Bet Ramamchuk, the Ukrainian, silver medalist last year at that European Championships. And what can she go out to? Well, she's having a look, and crucially, she did get that white flag. She had a foul in a second. She went out to 6:81 in the first, lying in silver medal position so far, and look at that, that is precision accuracy on the board. And again, one of those competitors has a really good leg shoot, and that's 6:77, 6:81 will stay her best so far.
This is Mironchuk Ivanova, the former medalist from Daegu all those years ago. That's a better jump from her. No jump in the second round, 6:53 in the opener. Malaika Mihambo, by the way, the favourite for the gold, is in 7th at the moment, but I'm just checking the boards, and there are 4 women who could overtake her, who jumped after her. So Mihambo is living dangerously. That's a good improvement from the Belarusian. She's up to 6:76. That puts her in third.
Some heavy strapping there just on the ankle of Brooke Stratton. She's lying in that really uncomfortable situation of being in 8th position. Remember, only 8 get a further 3 jumps. So she'll be looking to improve on the 6:46 that she registered in the first round. Just see Shara Proctor there in the background, just preparing for her third jump. So Strachan, the Oceanian record holder, she has gone out all the way to 7:05, that being a personal best. Not done that this year though, 6:74. If she could reproduce something like that, she'd be guaranteed an extra 3 jumps. Well, just steadying herself. Last few moments, going through her own little mental approach, and here she goes. Brooke Stratton, third jump, what can she do? Well, that looks pretty good on the board, but well, has it got the distance? Yep, she's given the white flag. So she is in 8th position so far, with 6:46. You would think she's going to have to go further than that. And 6:42, she's living dangerously.
She is, because there are a number of women. Mihambo's already ahead of her, only just. There are a number of women who could drop the Australian out of the opportunity for a further 3. Right, this is massive for Mihambo. There are 4 women yet to jump who are behind her in the leaderboard. So although she's 7th, she must surely improve here to keep her further participation in her hands, rather than having the agony of watching the 4 subsequent jumpers potentially push her out of the top 8. This would be a big, big shot if this German's participation in this World Championship final is about to come to an end. The season's outstanding performer is under pressure to deliver. Has to do something now. Oh my goodness me! Cometh the hour, cometh the favourite, cometh the potential champion. That was massive, massive. Perfect on the board. I cannot believe what we're seeing. She jumps into the top 10 of all time. 7.30 meters. That is absolutely incredible from Mihambo.
Well, she was jumping for a final 3 jumps, but I think we've already seen the gold medal winning jump. Go back for the women's long jump here. Here's Tori Bowie.
Bowie in the 4th round. Needs to make a move here, and that's better, isn't it? 6.61 in the 1st round. She knows she's capable of more. 6.81 is 3rd at the moment. Brume in 2nd with 6.91. Beck Romanchuk, the Ukrainians, in 3rd. And nobody surely is going to catch Malaika Mihambo on 7.30. An absolutely incredible mark. 6.81, she ties Beck Romanchuk, but on countback it's 4th rather than a shared bronze. Manja Beck Romanchuk. 6.81 her best jump so far. That was in the 1st round. Oh, that's close to the 7-meter line. That's going to be an improvement for this brilliant Ukrainian. European silver medalist last year, World Student Games champion this year. No one's going to catch Malaika Mihambo with that massive 7.30. She produced that in the 3rd round when she was under a little bit of pressure. Beck Romanchuk, 6.92. She moves ahead of Blume, the Nigerian, relegated to 3rd at the moment. 1 full round remaining. Bowie lying in 4th place. 6.81 her best so far. That came in the 4th round. We are now into the last round. Malaika Mihambo, by the way, produced a 7.09 in the 5th round to go alongside her 7.30. Okay, Bowie, 6.81. Brume of Nigeria is in the bronze medal position with 6.91. She's got to find at least 10 centimetres. No. Well, it's a wry smile on the face of the American, who was the 100-metre champion in London. And there must have been a reason why she pulled out of taking her place in the starting lineup for the semis of the one. She's had a tough season. She's come out here and given it a go. But she's come up short of a medal, only just, but finishes in 4th.
Yeah, that was a disappointment for Bowie there. She won a complete set of medals at the Rio Olympics, the 100, the 200 and the 4x1. Real versatile athlete. Yeah, we can only presume. In fact, she went out to her best there in the 6th round, 6.81. We can only presume she just didn't feel she was quite in the shape to feature over that 100 metres.
Only 2 women can deny Malaika Mihambo the gold medal, and this would require an absolutely huge personal best from the Nigerian. She's guaranteed a medal, replicating the wonderful performances of Blessing Okabare, her compatriot, in recent years. Can the African champion find something here? Not to be. A fine season, a great competition. The African champion, the former Commonwealth champion, is now a global medalist in the long jump, and you can see what that bronze means to her. Great performance. Oh,
it was a great performance. I love watching this athlete compete. So much height off the board. She just dropped her trail leg. You can just see first one goes out and she just drops it. She lands rather awkwardly, in fact, but she's absolutely delighted. It's her first World Championships and she's come away with a bronze medal.
Beck Romanchuk, European silver medalist last year. She's in the silver medal position with 6.92. That was in that 5th round. Her lifetime best, 6.93. Wouldn't it be great to maybe see her inspired by this huge crowd and get over 7 meters for the first time in her career? She's guaranteed a silver. A fine, fine jump to bring a great competition to an end. That's what it means to the Ukrainian. She is a World Championship silver medalist, and that unequivocally confirms now that Mihambo has become the first German champion for 26 years. Heike Drechsler soared when she took the title in 1993. 7 meters 30 in the 3rd round, followed it up with 7.09. That jump would have been good enough for the title on its own. A 14 centimetre lifetime best. Mihambo has already crowned by far the best season of her career. The European champion is the world champion. Let's see if she can finish this long, long, glorious season with one last flourish. The crowd are willing her on. The result here is academic in this 6th round. Let's see if it's big. Oh, it's another brilliant, brilliant jump. It looks like she's finished this season exactly where she started it, jumping 7 meters for fun. And now her party and her holiday at the end of the year can commence. She's the world champion to add to her European crown, and she has taken such a big step up in class this year, time and time and time again, over 7 meters, under pressure in the 3rd round, but just when she needed it most, she produced a PB, and there are tears of delight for the Nigerian taking the bronze, and for Beck Romanchuk with the silver. 3 women who richly deserve their moment to shine here on the last night in Doha. Mihambo takes the title.
She's been fantastic this season, hasn't she? And I think when you see an athlete consistently going over that 7 meter mark, you expect her to land a big one at some point. She improved her personal best by 14 centimetres here in this competition. Yeah, and you mentioned, Rob, let's not forget, she was under pressure in that 3rd round just to be able to stay in the competition. But I'm looking down the all-time list here, and she's just 1 centimetre behind Brittany Reese now from the USA, 4 times champion at these World Championships, of course, and just 1 centimetre behind the great Marion Jones as well from the United States of America. She joins quite a list.
Malaika Mihambo is the world champion. Manya Beck Romanchuk the silver, and Ese Brume of Nigeria had tears of delight with her bronze. All 3 over 6.90. Irizuru down in 7th for Great Britain, Proctor 11th, and Ngoyen 6.26. Well, she did brilliantly to make the final, the Hungarian. She finishes in 12th.